Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Pat Ripple from SCORE, and more importantly today from the Northeast Ohio Women Connect conference coming up September 21st, 9 to 2 over at the Kent State at Stark Conference Center. So let's look at the day. You've got some great speakers coming in. You've got a full day planned for us. Tell us what we can expect.
We do indeed have a full day planned. I'm really excited about the speakers we have lined up. And actually, the Leadership Skills Panel, I was talking to the Canton Regional Chamber about this event, and they felt fairly strongly that they'd like to see, they think there are so many women, really quality women entrepreneurs, and they tend to fly under the radar. So they really encouraged us to have some sort of session on leadership skills. So we're very excited about it. We have three great women lined up. Trina Cutter, who's president and CEO of Western Reserve Public Media. I understand she's one of the few CEOs of a media.
That's awesome,
company.
and that would be channels 45 and 49, public
It's
TV.
NPR.
Yes, public television, yes.
And then Betsy Ingalls, who's she's marketing, or I'm sorry, not marketing, engineering background, materials engineering background, retired from Timken and is now VP, Vice President of Sales and Business Development for Tata Steel.
Nice.
And then we have Kathy Geib, who's a certified leadership coach or life skills, life coach.
Like a life coach.
Yes. Her business is Authentic Focus Consulting.
Very nice.
And that panel is going to be mentored by one of our younger SCORE mentors, Divya Sriram, and she's also a skills-based coach. And she's put together this wonderful discussion.
When we talk about leadership skills, and specifically leadership skills that we're bringing out of women, what are we talking about? The ability to do what?
The ability to have confidence, to focus. I'm not saying women don't, but there could be times when we're not assertive enough or choosing the right path to rise.
Let's peel this back a little bit, because often an assertive woman would say something that can be, because she's a woman, it's considered negative. That if a man were to assert himself and say the same sentence in the same tone of voice, it would be considered, oh, hats off to him. Wow, how intuitive of him. Comment. Am I off base, or have you seen that happen, or you're thinking of that?
I tell you, it can happen. It can happen.
So do women tend to not assert themselves because they don't want to be viewed as in negative terms?
I think maybe we think more about how we're perceived than the men do. And we just want to make sure that's not an issue, that we can be out there and we can be confident and choose the right path. I was just talking to Divya the other day, and it struck me, and she had one topic she's going to discuss, but, we may be so anxious to get ahead or rise in our organization that we may not focus on the best path for us. We may just take an opportunity because it's given to us rather than saying, well, that's not a good match for my skills, so maybe I better just wait and get a better match.
Women in particular, or anybody tends to do that?
We're focusing on the women's side of it.
Mm-hmm. So women do tend to, it's an opportunity,
let's grab jump, but let's make sure we're going to be successful at it before we jump.
Mm-hmm. And what wisdom that you've just said there, to take the time to look at our skill set and look at the skill set it requires and see, is that a good match? Yeah. Can we afford to be a little more particular than we're being?
I could have used that advice about 20 years ago.
Oh, yes. I'm your sister right here. Also, do women have trouble saying no?
I think, for the most part, yes. Yes, they have trouble saying no. Until they get to the point where they feel just confident enough to say, no, that's not a good use of my time or my skills. And time, I said time twice, but that's because it's really important not to spread ourselves too thin.
I think we all can name very easily, a handful or two hands full of women who do everything because they do have difficulty saying no. And once, your church or your organization, your philanthropy you're involved in, once they find out, we've got a worker,
Oh, yes.
they will run you ragged and address that a little bit. What is it about women that we're so eager to please that we jump into all those opportunities?
I don't know if it's because I'm eager to please that. Especially when it came to SCORE, I got involved because I wanted to be able to use my business skills.
Yes.
And I could have gone a lot of different avenues, but I felt, well, this is the best use of my talents. And then, but once I get into organization, if I click, I'm in. I'm all in. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I basically limit it to SCORE because I do spend a lot of time with SCORE.
That's maturity on your part. And I think you've already learned a lesson I think that the rest of us can learn from. Already see your mentoring. Look at all these people that you're mentoring already. Take a moment and see, is this the best, you said it, is this the best use of my time? There's a lot of good things we can be doing.
There are. And there are some amazing women who can do this with 3 or 4 organizations. I just don't happen to be one of them. I cherish the time I have to relax and do other things I like to do. But, I do spend a lot of time on SCORE, and I love it.
I think that's very healthy. Well, so that's one of the leadership skills. Maybe time management might be one of those that will be.
It may be, I'm sure. These women didn't, get to where they are by not managing their time well.
Yeah, exactly. We all have 24 hours, which is hard to believe that we all have the same number in a day. What else will we be learning?
Okay, so that's one of the breakout sessions. The other breakout session, we've assembled a panel of successful SCORE clients, startups, 2 for-profits and 1 not-for-profit. So we'd like them to share this. Both of these can be moderated discussions. We want them to share their stories, their challenges, to especially the would-be entrepreneurs in the audience.
Yeah, very, very good information. I'm sure that they'll be sharing. Are we allowed to know who they are, the businesses themselves?
We're still finalizing a couple of them, but one is the lovely young woman with a dance studio.
Yeah, oh, good.
It's called The Dance Movement, and her name is Lindsay Fox.
Good.
And another is Julie Buckeye. She's from Akron, and she runs a fitness company.
Nice. And these are both for-profit.
Those are both for-profit.
And you're still finding a not-for-profit?
And I think we have a not-for-profit client coming out of Akron and a for-profit maybe perhaps out of Mansfield. So I'm just nailing down those details. Now, these breakout sessions will run simultaneously, but will repeat. So anyone attending the day can hear both panels, won't have to choose.
Oh, that's good. You can get a chance to hear it all.
Yes.
What else do you have planned for us?
And then for $25, you get a fabulous lunch from the Conference Center with a keynote speaker. And that keynote speaker is Jennifer Downey, who is the founder and president of the Ambiance store chain.
Very, very popular, very successful.
She is amazing. I have met her personally. She and my husband were in a business owners group together. And I just remember sitting there and she was telling me, and she was the first female stockbroker in Cleveland.
Really?
Yes. I believe she has her MBA and just decided she wanted to own her own business and just looked at what markets were not being served and came up with the concept of Ambiance.
So interesting. And isn't that what you do? You find a need.
You find an underserved market.
And fill it.
And that's what we tell. When someone comes in to do a business plan, we say, okay, who's your target audience? Look at the demographics, look at your competition, see who's out there, and see how your business is going to be different and how you're going to fit in the scheme of things.
When you say that, it's all so simple. It's really not rocket science. So why is it so difficult to start a business?
Because finding that niche that is underserved, that you can distinguish yourself, that you can, get people in the door online.
There's always that one that totally breaks all the rules. And I'm going to throw this out to you and just get your take on it. I'm going to say the year was 2008 and everything was going south. And anybody thinking of opening a restaurant of any kind at that time, plus, who needs another restaurant in our community when you can't throw a stone without breaking the window of one? And family, is it the Saldo family that came in and opened up Gervasi Vineyard which has done nothing but thrive and grow from day one. I guess if you have a good enough idea that's different and unique and spectacular enough.
Spectacular is the word for Gervasi.
Then that's what breaks the mold, yes?
Yes. And actually, just as a side note, at our chapter meetings, monthly chapter meetings, we always have an educational component, and the winemaker from Gervasi spoke to our chapter a couple of years ago. But Gervasi is more than a restaurant. It's a destination. It's amazing. It's beautiful out there. But you see, what else in the area is like that?
No, nothing.
So they found an untapped market.
Yes. And did it everything so well.
And had the capital behind them.
Yeah.
That helped an awful lot.
So that is a big part of it. What do you recommend as far as people to be able to find capital so that they can do their thing spectacularly as well?
Well, some people come in thinking there's all these grants out there, and there's not. And fortunately, that ad was on TV with a crazy guy touting, I hated that commercial.
There's free money.
Free money.
Yeah.
There's no free money.
Right.
But we tell people, most people have to put together a package. They have to have some money in it, some stake.
Do you have to? It takes some money to make some money.
It takes some money, and the bank's will never give you 100% financing. They want you to have something at risk. And I just had this other lovely young couple. I'm sounding old because I think everyone's young. Probably true. But they wanted to start a business, and they had enough home equity, and then they had or the business involved the building, so they could get conventional financing. So. They did their homework, and we have some former bankers as mentors, and they're just outstanding in working with the clients and tell them what to expect.
I love how encouraging you are. And what you're saying is if you've got a good idea, there are ways to find money.
There are ways, but
forget
to be
about, in our home. Yes,
yeah,
forgot
home
about
equity,
that.
Have to have a decent FICO score.
I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
But, if a person has his or her act together, there's a good chance they could get started in a business.
What's your opinion of crowdfunding?
I think it's interesting, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Kiva Zip.
I have not heard of that one.
Kiva, I think, was started actually in Africa to crowdfund small businesses, and then they brought it to the States. It's called Kiva Zip. But it's not so much crowdfunding, it's micro-lending. And it's character-based lending. So the SCORE chapter here is a sponsor. What happens is the client comes and has to be basically approved. We have to say, yes, there's a viable business plan here, yes, and they have to have a FICO, decent FICO score before they can end up on the Kiva Zip website. But it's zero interest-based loans up to, I believe, $5,000. So I'm working with a client now and trying to get her qualified for a Kiva loan.
That is awesome. So interesting. So it's there. It can be done. Yes, Pat?
Not. I'm an accountant by trade, a CPA. No, we're pretty black and white. But yes, there's very few people I would say, well, when I talked about the other ones, where it's obvious it won't work.
Right.
But
right. But they
given the right idea, given the right circumstances, yes.
Can do it. All right. Well, you definitely want to attend Northeast Ohio Women Connect, September 21st, 9 to 2. How do we get tickets?
You can go to the Canton SCORE website, which is canton.score.org, and register online.
Is there a phone number?
It's 330-244-3294.
Give that one more time, please.
330-244-3294.
Pat Ripple, thank you so much for what you're doing in our community.
Well, thank you.